So I learned this week, I'm scrolling through ESPN as I'm known to do, right? I work for ESPN Central Texas, one of the affiliate outlets down in Texas. Oh, shocking. And I'm reading Ryan McGee, who I like, senior writer, ESPN, also on TV a lot. You probably know Ryan McGee, who lists his bottom 10 after week 10. And the headline is Back So Soon Sooners. And I thought, oh, that's kind of weird. Why would the Sooners be in his bottom 10 in college football? I want to preface this by saying, first and foremost, if you're an Oklahoma fan watching, I probably like you. We would probably get along. In the whole Big 12 expansion thing, I am much more mad at Texas. I don't know why. I'm much more mad at Texas than I am you. I rooted for Oklahoma to beat Texas. I thought that Texas would win. I rooted for Oklahoma. I don't hate Oklahoma for what they've done. I'm fine with it. Who cares? I'm more mad at Texas. Maybe it's the way I was raised. Maybe it's where I went to college. But I don't look at OU with the same just complete animosity that I do Texas. So when I saw this, I thought this is real, right? It's clickbait headline. I'll click on it. Well, the number one worst team in America per ESPN, Sam Houston State. Fine, whatever. They're 1-8. Number 2, Kent State. 3, Eastern Carolina. If you're keeping up at home, these are all really bad teams, right? Number 4, UConn. Also 1-8. They're bad. The number 5 worst team in America, the bottom 10, the Oklahoma Sooners. And Ryan McGee writes, how often does a team lock up consecutive coveted 5th spots? Looking at the bottom 10 record book, we can't find evidence that it's happened before. If we're being honest, we couldn't actually open the bottom 10 record book because it's something. Like, it's just kind of stupid write-up. At the very end, we may have not put OU back in here because we just thought that swooner name and it was good not to you. I can't dog on it too much. I work in an affiliate. But the idea that Oklahoma would be a bottom 10 team I'm trying to be careful here. I don't want this to turn into a conversation of how bad ESPN is, or ESPN gets X, Y, and Z wrong, or it's a joke, or it does things poorly. But who could tell me that Oklahoma is a bottom 10 team in the country? And even more so, who could argue that Oklahoma is bad? I never thought that I'd be coming to OU's rescue here or trying to defend the university, or even Brent Venables, who I know a lot of Oklahoma fans are upset with, or Jeff Levy, who a lot of Oklahoma fans are upset with. But to me, it's just asinine to think that this OU team is not good, or this OU team in some capacity doesn't get it done. I mean, they are tied right now for second in the Big 12. I know that maybe it's not exactly what you wanted, but Dylan Gabriel, as good as he's been, even struggling the last couple of weeks, is still in the top 10 for a Heisman Trophy. Danny Stutzman, when that guy doesn't play, you already see the effect that has on the university, on the football team. Billy Bowman Jr., Jaleel Farouk. You're going to tell me it's a bottom 10 team? I just don't think that's something we can make any sense out of. Points per game, Oklahoma scores 40 points per game. For as much as I think Jeff Levy should be fired, I don't think he is the guy. I have to jive with the fact that OU has done a hell of a job offensively. That OU has done more than ample job offensively. And then defensively, the improvement from last year, I talked about it in the preseason. Oklahoma was in the 90s in total defense, 100s in total defense, one of the worst defenses in college football all last year. And I know I keep coming back to it. It might sound weird that I'm defending OU here, but 490 yards per game, statistically, it's the best offense in the Big 12. And I hate that because I do believe that Jeff Levy is not the right guy for the job. And you're probably scratching your head if you're a UCF fan, an Oklahoma State fan, a TCU fan, saying, how could this guy say? How could this guy say that Oklahoma's offense statistically is so good and Jeff Levy shouldn't be the OC? The reason for that is the fit. Right. If you watch enough Oklahoma, if you've talked to enough Oklahoma sources, I had a guy call me who lives in Norman, hosts a radio show in Norman. That's as far as I'll go, who said, the issue with Levy is he's just not the right fit. He just doesn't fit what Brent Venables is trying to do. Oftentimes you can have an OC who disrupts a DC, or if you have a defensive minded head coach, you can have an OC that doesn't jive with the DC. It's very seldom that there's not some sort of infighting in a football program, high school, NFL, college, between the offense and defense. Defense gets a stop. Offense can't score. Defense is upset. Offense scores. Defense can't get a stop. At that point, the offense is upset. For Oklahoma, there seems to be the give and take with Jeff Levy. All that to say, despite the turmoil with an offensive coordinator, you have the number one offense in the Big 12, scoring 40 points per game, 490 yards per game. And the defense has finally put it together. And ESPN says you're a bottom 10 team? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. This is such an improvement from where OU was last year. I watched OU last year, and it was embarrassing. For what the caliber is, what the standard is in Norman, it was embarrassing. And now, I just don't think this is very unserious to me. The amount of guys that can run the ball effectively for OU, the amount of guys that are very even in the pass-catching game, from Drake Stoops to Jaleel Farouk, who have been used, Nick Anderson. I just don't believe you can legitimately publish Oklahoma as a bottom 10 team in college basketball or football. Maybe college basketball, not football. That doesn't make any sense. No, sir. Get it off my screen. Not today. I'm defending you, Oklahoma. Enjoy it while it lasts. Arizona might have to sell its athletic department, by the way. This is Locked On Big 12, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is where I go to make money. Prize Picks is the easiest way to, I go in, I pick two things, and boom, I'm set. Like I effectively say, hey, look, there is a way to parlay this with this, and bam, right? For example, basketball season here, you can get specials. LeBron James plus Travis Kelce at a 10.5 point combo of 3-pointers made plus receptions. You win money. Play alongside some of Prize Picks' favorite players like rapper Meek Mill, comedian Andrew Schultz. Find the community plays under the promos tab of the app to view the entries and some of the biggest names in Prize Picks community. Prize Picks even offers a reboot policy, so your entries stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. For football and basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half, does not return in the second, that player is rebooted. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. Turn $10 into $250 with just a few taps. Right now, go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege. Use code LockedOnCollege for a first deposit match up to $100. prizepicks.com/LockedOnCollege. Use code LockedOnCollege for a first deposit match up to $100 at Prize Picks.